So first, Trump steals a Venezuelan oil tanker.
We've just seized a tanker. I assume we're going to keep the oil.
Now he's claiming Venezuela stole oil from the U.S. and using that to justify blockading oil tankers from going in and out of Venezuela, which, by the way, is an act of war under international law. But what's the truth about Trump's ridiculous claim?
You remember they took all of our energy rights. They took all of our oil, and we want it back. They illegally took it.
First of all, the idea that Trump has ownership rights over Venezuelan oil is just naked colonialism. In fact, one of the legal principles that came out of World War II and the anti-colonial struggles of that time was that sovereign independent nations have a right to use and regulate their natural resources as they see fit. International law is crystal clear about this. And for the U.S. to assert ownership rights over Venezuelan oil is not only racist colonial arrogance, it's completely illegal. Now, speaking of racist arrogance, Stephen Miller tweeted, "American sweat, ingenuity, and toil created the oil industry in Venezuela. Its tyrannical expropriation was the largest recorded theft of American wealth and property." Let's talk about theft. For over 100 years, U.S. imperialism and companies like Chevron and Exxon have been exploiting Venezuelan oil for massive profits. In fact, the original U.S. oil concessions in Venezuela were granted under Juan Vicente Gomez, a brutal dictator who came to power in a U.S.-backed coup in 1908 and allowed U.S. and European corporations to plunder the country while he tortured and disappeared his political enemies. And no, it wasn't American sweat and toil that built the Venezuelan oil industry. It was mainly the backbreaking labor of the Venezuelan people. In 1976, Venezuela did nationalize its oil industry, negotiating with and yes, compensating foreign companies. And then there was another wave of nationalization in 2007 under Hugo Chavez that did involve some expropriation of assets of companies that refused to accept the new conditions. But all of this, once again, is fully within Venezuela's rights as a sovereign country. But as Bob Avakian put it, for the Trump regime,
raw destructive power is what must rule in the international arena without even the pretense of adherence to international law or concern about the sovereignty or even the right to exist of less powerful peoples and countries.
What Trump, Miller, and the rest are doing with their ridiculous claim that Venezuela is stealing our oil is flipping reality completely upside down. Just like their lies about narco-terrorism, which they've used to blow up dozens of boats and murder almost 100 people, this new set of lies from the Trump fascist regime pushes the whole region closer to all-out war. Every decent person, especially in the belly of the imperialist beast, needs to raise your voice and say, no U.S. war on Venezuela. The Trump fascist regime must go now. And take a serious look at the countless crimes the U.S. has perpetrated in Latin America and throughout the world under both parties for over a century. The capitalist imperialist system that has driven all this and the revolution that can bring a much better world into being.